Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Rapid On right here on Rapid Television. And of course, it is time for the big conversation. We have Dr. Peter Eder joining us now for the conversation. Dr. Peter, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Peter. Can you hear us, Dr. Peter? We can see you smile at us, but we don't know if you can hear us.
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and it's my pleasure.
All right, Dr. Peter. Dr. Peter, as we speak, right, Asuu has been on a 2-week warning strike, and reports indicate that the federal government's renegotiation team has made progress on 5 out of 7 major demands. You know, the demands kind of includes the implementation of the 2009 Asuu federal government agreement, the payment of the end academic allowances, the adoption of the UTAS payment platform, revitalization funding for public universities, payment of withheld salaries from past strikes, concerns over the unchecked creation of new state universities, and the issue of university autonomy and governance. Can you please guide us or walk us through what these key demands really mean and what exactly is still holding back a full resolution despite several rounds of dialogue and promises over the past years?
Thank you very much. To begin with, I would want to make it clear here that I am not speaking for Asuu.
Dr. Peter?
Speaking a personal opinion as an Asuu member. Can you read me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. Like I said, I am not speaking for Asuu, but I'm speaking as a member of Asuu, and I'm making my own personal opinion.
All right, that is noted.
To this. I will respond to your question with a question. If actually the government has said in her negotiating team that she has responded to Asuu's demands, how, when, and where? I don't think that is correct. Because if it is correct, Asuu will take a drastic action over such given. As we speak, we have been briefed on the negotiations so far reached at, and I can tell you the feelings of my colleagues all over the country that they are not satisfied with the given so far. So the answer is that government has not done the needful. Government has not responded to Asuu's demand.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I see that you're trying to be on the diplomatic side of things. So we'll keep asking the question based on your personal affiliation with Asuu and your experience being under the union. Now, the conflict between both the federal government and Asuu dates back to, I think, the 1970s. But it became more prominent in the 1980s when Asuu became more politically active, became more political active, and started to demand, I'm trying to see here, demanding better conditions for Nigerian universities and staff members. Now, the 2009 Act agreements that was arrived at both the federal government and Asuu is one that has constantly been made reference to, both by Asuu, other university unions, and it seems like everyone wants the federal government to return to the original agreement between Asuu and the federal government. At some point, the federal government is saying we are oblivious of whatever it is that is contained in the 2009 Act and that agreement between Asuu and the federal government. And I also just want to highlight some of the major things that are being said there. He said improved funding for universities, better salaries and facilities. Now, my question to you is, are you saying that since the 1980s, or let's leave the 1980s, since 2009 when this act was being signed, are you saying that the government has not acted on any one of these demands by Asuu at all? And by that I'm meaning improved infrastructure, better salaries and facilities and funding for universities. Are you saying that the federal government has done nothing at all from that act, or it's just a partial implementation of that agreement?
Well, you want me to answer that question? I will answer the question straight. Government has not done anything at all.
Okay.
It might sound very absurd to hear that, because as a person, I'm not satisfied with whatever government may have done. And as a member of Asuu, I know that government has the capacity to do more than what she may have done. Rather than sounding like an ingrate for whatsoever, I refuse to feel that, one should be grateful for what is, when you are being deprived of what is to be yours, and you are looking beggarly to whatever may have been done, and then you now say that you should be too grateful. Well, if I may sound too religious over that, I would say okay. But come to think of it, whatever government may have done cannot be measured, cannot be compared to any standard in the world.
Okay.
And where you cannot make any comparison of such from a country that is so rich, then you know that it's a kind of begging the question.
Now, the question, from what I hear you say now, it's not like the government has not done it, but they have not done it up to standard. Because when this matter has been on for too long and we're trying to arrive at a definite conclusion, is it that the federal government is not listening to Asuu at all, or the federal government is not doing it as Asuu would like? Because these are two very different things.
Okay, now it's not as if as Asuu will like. That is not it.
Okay.
If a responsible government should be able to look at a particular problem that has a recurring decimal.
Okay.
To say, what is this that cannot come to an end? The future of our children, the future of Nigeria. The future of Nigeria is embedded in our academic system. If Nigeria is not good academically, Nigeria will fail. So the main thing that is keeping Nigerians moving is the academic system, is the educational system, from kindergarten to whatever PhD level. It is educational system. And so taking the educational system holistically, Nigeria is far behind what it should be. Now, when you look at what Asuu is demanding, Asuu is not demanding anything that is frivolous. Asuu is not demanding anything that is not done anywhere. You know, you are quite young to interrogate this system. But if you could ask yourself a question, that before you were born, they have been talking about Asuu strike, Asuu strike, Asuu strike. Till today, you graduated and you went through the system, whether you went through a private university or through a public institution, you will still have heard about Asuu strike. Why can't government put an end to it? And what is Asuu asking for? Is he asking for something that is not doable? Definitely not. But that government is adamant to the well-being of the academics. Government failed to realize that as soon as you fix, Asuu problem, you have for 80% fixed Nigerian problem. If you want to fix Nigerian problem, then fix Asuu wahala or whatsoever they call it. Many people have named Asuu members, one thing or the other. Make comparison.
But why won't Asuu? Why won't Asuu fight it once and for all? The idea that Asuu starts a strike today, then after a little bit of conversation, they relax, come back again, relax, because this has been the method of Asuu over time. If you want to fight for a cause, I'm thinking that you should go head on with it. If the federal government is not backing down, Asuu is not backing down, we're going to remain at a loggerhead and we will not make progress. And if we don't make progress, it's either we agree on something or we come to a compromise. Why is it that Asuu comes out and says, we have come to a compromise with the federal government, tomorrow they go on a warning strike, come back again? This back and forth is what makes it look like Asuu is not serious about what they want or the demands that they are placing before the federal government. Because if, for instance, I want something to be done now, if I want you, Dr. Peter, to do something for me right now, I would not come today, talk about it and go back, come today, talk about it and go back. I will keep following you with it until I get the answers that I desire. Why this back and forth movement rather than sorting the problem once and for all? Because these methods are very unconventional, just like you are saying that the government is doing things, or the government of Nigeria is doing things that are very unconventional and are not up to standard anywhere in the world. The methods of Asuu also is very unconventional, because this entire warning strike today, back to school tomorrow, is messing up the entire curriculum, the school's curriculum. Some students cannot even catch up with their studies any longer, or catch up with their counterparts any longer. Why the back and forth? Why retreat today, surrender tomorrow? What's the reason for that?
Thank you very much. You see, that is equally a concern of Asuu.
Okay.
it is not as if ASU members are enjoying that kind of you go on strike today and then you come back tomorrow. We in the academically we are humanitarians. You know, academically, when you look at the world of academics generally, whether from point of view of science, management science, or whatsoever, we are humanitarians. And we feel the pulse of Nigerians. We are equally parents. We feel the problem. You will find a professor with 5 to 7 children. For those of them who even have 2, 3, 4 wives, especially the Muslim brothers who have plenty families, it is not as if we cannot shut down the system and have it once and for all. But the government is not willing to see it. The government does not feel the plight of Nigerians. It's not about ASU members. And so most times we are touched by that human feelings to see that, let us not allow Nigerian child to suffer continuously. And barely no one in the academic world or that have the wherewithal to send their children to as much as 4 million and above. And so when it comes to that, you see that whipping sentiment come into play, and ASU will bow down, not because she cannot lock up. If we borrow from examples of other countries in Africa that have fought their system to a standstill, like Ghana, for instance, in the past, they shut down completely for so many years, up to 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, until it was corrected. Now, today, Nigerian professors are the least paid academics in Africa. Look at South Africa, where we Nigerians contributed money to liberate them. They are the highest paid. They are the highest paid. There is no professor in the least minimum bench of an academic staff in South Africa. It's about 6 billion. You know, in Uganda it's about 5 point something million. You know, and you keep calling like that. It is only Nigeria that you have an academic, a professor receiving less than 600,000.
Dr. Peter,
what can you fetch with it? Yes.
Dr. Peter, you stated some points basically, and you've talked about the fact that ASU has a human sympathy, yeah. But again, let's take it back to 2022. 8 months you were on strike. In 2013, for about 6 months you were on strike. In 2009, you were also on strike for a long time. You know, if you put all of this together, you've made reference, you know, to Ghana, saying that Ghana went on strike for about 5 years, as it is. But with all of the months on and off that ASU have been going on strike, the inconsistencies that you've had so far, and you've not had a result that you can hold on to say that after our strike, this is something that we're holding on to. Now, you're on you're on a warning strike again, and of course, ASU is also saying that after the 2-week strike, if the federal government does not come to a compromise with them, they will go on to indefinite strike. And now the federal government says no work, no pay. ASU says no pay, no work. What moral ground, what legal ground does ASU have basically to be on these standings right now, and how does this stance as well affect the renegotiation between ASU and federal government moving on?
Now, you see, even in applying the principles of no work, no pay, the government does not have the locus to make such a pronouncement just at mere giving of a notice that ASU will go on a 2 weeks warning strike.
ASU said they were going to go on a strike, and so the federal government has said if you're not working, they were not going to pay you. So if you look at that, you will say that the federal government has the legal stance to do that.
See, you have to define the academic work. You understand? Going on strike is going on strike not to teach the Nigerian child. Is that the only work an academic is involving? And as I can tell you, even as we carry out this conversation, ASU does many other works apart from just teaching children, teaching the students we have in our universities. So it is not about, okay, you shut down for
Hello, Dr. Peter.
Having to teach our students.
What is the primary responsibility of lecturers?
Now come up with. There are other things. What is
the primary responsibility of lecturers or ASU as a union? What is your primary responsibility?
Teaching, research, and so on and so forth.
And so if you go on strike, it means that you're shutting down that platform or the opportunity for students to be taught in the universities, which is your primary responsibility, correct?
When you go on strike for teaching, you have not gone on strike for research.
But that's 4 years plus. Looking at the time that ASU has spent going on strike, he did make mention of some of the years. He says 15 nationwide strikes have occurred from ASU, and all of these bits of strike here and there put together is 4 years plus of academic time lost.
No. Sorry. You don't have to check it that way.
But that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's
Dr.
4
Peter.
years plus of academic time lost.
That is not what it is.
Okay, so what is it?
That is not what it is.
Okay.
You see, in 2009,
okay,
ASU went on strike. There was an agreement, and out of that agreement, government failed to keep the agreement. They truncated it, and they came up much later to renegotiate the same agreement. ASU agreed. Whatever way government pushes ASU is, agreeing or doing one thing or the other. You see, you do not, and within this segment of period and all that, you can't just sit back to say you are putting all that. That is mischievous. You are putting all that together. You as a lady, I wonder why you think that in that manner.
That has nothing to do. Hello, Mr. Peter. That has nothing to do with gender, male or female. I'm going to cut you right there, Mr. Peter. Male or female? I'm going to cut you right there, Mr. Peter. Male or female? I'm going to cut you there. No, I will not. Male or female, you have the responsibility of explaining. Research is not generic. Research is not limited to being male or female. Either male or female, you have access to information. You have access to data, and this data is provided on the social space. So when you make it about gender, you put me in a very difficult position where I might not be willing to listen to what else you have to say. So the question here is, we have talked about different years, 50 months of strike, about 4 years plus cumulated time, whether you call it 10 months and then 2 months and then 5 months and another 6 months, all put together is 4 years of accumulated time, wasted time that students could have used. I'm not saying that Asuu should not be paid. Well, neither am I saying that the federal government should not pay attention to Asuu. What I am saying is, this method of putting your hands on the plow and going back is not working, obviously. Can you devise another means to sort the problem between Asuu and the federal government so that the students do not become the matching ground for the conflict between you both? So this has nothing to do with gender, Mr. Peter.
Okay. I never said that I was attacking any gender or whatsoever. Why I made mention of you as a woman is that I find that to be insensitive enough to think that while going to think of bringing all those breakages to form a block.
So you think sensitivity is the responsibility to of a woman? A man should be sensitive as well. Sensitivity is not for one gender.
Don't hide at the back of the idea of gender to feel that you could press home that you understand.
You mentioned gender, that's why we headed to that point. You made mention of gender, that's why we headed to that point.
Yes, I expect that you should be more humane.
Why am I supposed to be more humane? Why am I supposed to be more humane? Because I'm woman, Mr. Peter or Dr. Peter?
Yes, because you are made by God in.
You see, that's where you get it very wrong. So, the sensitivity of humans is not limited to the female gender at all. You are also not helping the system by making it a gender conversation, Dr. Peter. This is in no way a gender conversation. It is a conversation that is supposed to address the wrangling between Asuu and the federal government. It has nothing to do with whether or not I'm a woman, and I should be bothered with the responsibility of being sensitive to your plight. Dr. Peter, do you not see my point? You digress. You digress, Dr. Peter. You digress, Dr. Peter.
Sleep of thought or a sleep of thought.
I cannot be held responsible for your sleep of thought, Dr. Peter. It's not in no way my responsibility to take responsibility for your sleep of thought.
In any case, rather than digressing, let's face the matter.
Absolutely, Dr. Peter.
And that is where I expect every Nigerian, whatever gender it is, to help the system, because we are not helping the system. We are looking at the Asuu members as being not serious about what they are looking for. If you look at what you read out about the 5 items you read out there, none of the, apart from earn allowances, every other thing is about the Nigerian youth or the revitalization of the university system, and all of that you read out are not about Asuu themselves. It's not about the pay that Asuu members will take home. The pay is just one part. have you taken a walk into the universities? Let me say, fine one day and even come to my office. And I know that if you have gone through public universities, you will agree with me that you cannot be satisfied looking at a professor's or entering a professor's office and spend some time with him. The offices are inadequate. You don't even find convenience where you can ease yourself and all that. It's quite appalling when you come into University of Abuja, for instance, and what you see on ground. Some of great men who have studied
Do we still have you?
here
Okay.
in University of Abuja
Okay.
can attest to it, that the standard of what you see on ground, does not give you the flair of what should be in a university. And that is why Asuu is crying about overhauling of the university system, so that we stop the brain drain, we stop those going abroad to go and study, whereas we have the capacity here to give out what we have. You will agree with me that most of Nigerians that are rated abroad, who studied here from Nigeria before going out there, are rated very high. So, and here we spend so much money going to study abroad. Why can't we do those things we go to find abroad here? Nigerians are going abroad to study because they have made the place. If the place was not well prepared or equipped for studies, will Nigerians be going there for that? So
Okay.
why can't we make Nigeria a better place?
Okay,
That
Dr.
is the
Peter.
question.
Yes, we do understand, and as a matter of fact, the point where we stand is not antagonism towards
No.
Asuu, because the demands are very honorable. The infrastructure, the school's infrastructure needs to be paid attention to. As a matter of fact, you would see that from the 2024 budget, about 7.9% of the total budget, education was allocated about 7.9% of the total budget, which is far below UNESCO's recommendation of about 15 to 20%. So we do understand the pain of Asuu. We understand that Asuu is trying to fight for the Nigerian institutions and for the students as well. So let's move, which will take us to the very next question.
So why can't you on your side query the Nigerian government?
Nobody
And
is
that we do.
That's what we're doing.
Dr. Peter.
Nobody is querying.
You do the picking on Asuu.
Not exactly, Dr. Peter. When we have conversations, as much as possible, we'll balance these conversations. Now we're talking to you as an Asuu member, also as a lecturer from the university, and we're trying to understand why Asuu renegotiates all the time with the federal government. Now, when we have conversations with the federal government, we also ask
the
them
federal government, why are you not meeting up to Asuu's demand?
Because again, you mentioned severally that from 2009, when you went on strike and then you had an agreement, the federal government did not meet up to the agreement, but they called for a renegotiation, which Asuu answered, and you dropped your strike.
Came to the table.
In 2022, you did the same thing. You renegotiated and you called off the strike again. This is 2025.
And
you are
same
saying
thing is playing out.
And so we're trying to understand, the rationale behind all of the renegotiation and not coming to a compromise.
Conclusion.
To a conclusion as it is. And that's why we're asking you these questions, not to antagonize Asuu
at all.
Okay. Now you see, when you are fighting, in as much as I don't look at or believe in Asuu fighting government, but government is always coming with a position of like fighting with Asuu. Now, when you find yourself, either negotiating or discussing with such personalities who don't understand what the academic world is and what it demands, what is required, you find it difficult to see that
Dr. Peter. All right, I think we might have to conclude the conversation here now, Dr. Peter. Thank you so much for your time with us. We do appreciate it.
We need to
just conclusively, Dr. Peter, just in a few seconds, please.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Peter.
Now,
please,
yes.
your final thoughts, please, just in a few seconds, because we need to wrap up the conversation.
My final thought here is this: Asuu is not fighting for herself alone. Asuu is fighting for the good of Nigeria, and for that reason, I'm calling on all well-meaning Nigerians, especially parents, to rise up and also talk to government to see the need to put this to a final, to a conclusive end. Now, right. There is no point that every day we are coming in and negotiating and renegotiating, and then government is not doing what she should do.
All right, Dr. Peter.
Look at it. Who is at fault here? Is it government? Is it Asuu that is at fault? What Asuu is asking for has not been given, and people are looking as though Asuu is playing games and all that. No,
Dr. Peter.
That Asuu called off a strike or suspends a strike is being sympathetic with the Nigerian child.
All right,
we should understand it from that point of view, and that is why we come back to work, so that we can forge ahead, because we have a government who is deaf. We have a government that cannot see. We have a government that is criminally minded, that is not ready to help the country.
Dr.
Why
Peter,
can't they put it to stop?
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Peter.
Government itself rise up to and do the needful.
I'm sure the federal government will listen to you in this manner. But of course, thank you so much, Dr. Peter, for your time today. We do appreciate you. Looking forward to further conversations as the matter unravels. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Peter.
Thank you, Dr. Peter, for your time.
And of course, that brings us to the conclusion of this conversation, talking about the Asuu strike, the warning strike, of course. And Asuu has said that they will go on an indefinite strike if the federal government does not, come to a compromise with them. As a matter of fact, there's an update here that says that the national leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities will meet today, at a NEC meeting. And of course, we believe that after that meeting, we'll get to get a few updates on what Asuu's stand will be moving on this particular strike here.
That's pretty much everything that I have to say. And the truth is, if you want to solve a problem, you go head on with the problem.
Of course.
I'll take, for example, Pengasing and Dangote's refinery. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They've been on it. And for a while now, we haven't heard any much of the wrangling between them. Maybe that might not be like the perfect example.
No.
But for Asuu, it has gone on for too long. They need to find a way to come together and arrive at a compromise.
That's right.
You cannot keep coming back and forth. You go on strike today, tomorrow you are back to the schools. I understand that you feel the pulse of the students' pain, but you also need to understand that this back and forth is distorting the educational system. I've said here many times that there was a particular course that I didn't attend one lecture in school for because of Asuu strike. But I wrote exams for the course because everything was self-taught. And
history is repeating itself right now.
And how many students will have to go through that for the problem to be sorted? Well, it's very unfortunate. It's 2025 and we're still on the same matter till date. It's very unfortunate. All
right, this is where we wrap up the conversation today. Do remember that you can follow us across all social media platforms at Rapid TV, and you can watch this very episode and every of our episode on our official YouTube channel at Official Rapid TV. Anywhere in the world you go, you can always be in tune with us and watch us live using our website at www.arabianradiotv.com. My name is Victor. Okay.
And my name is Martha Alu. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.